Chef and Builder Janie. We're back in the kitchen where today we are using our DAK bread maker. It's today's bread for our bread series of the week recipe. And today we're making pretzels. Pretzels, warm hot pretzels, fresh with either mustard dip or cheese dip. It's one of John and I's one of our favorites. So I think homemade are even better, don't you? And if you've ever had a homemade hot pretzel, then you're going to appreciate this recipe. Now you can make these by hand or you can make these in the bread machine. Either way, it doesn't matter. It works both ways for this recipe. So come along and let's make some pretzels. Doing it in the machine is going to make it a lot easier on us. We're going to start with our dry ingredients, and we're going to start with 1 package of instant dry yeast, which is the same as instant rise yeast or rapid rise yeast. And that's also, if you're doing it out of the jar, it's equivalent to 2 1/4 teaspoons. That's 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. And in our DAK, we do start with the yeast first. Write this recipe down if yours requires wet ingredients first so that you can reverse it when you go to make it. Next, to activate the yeast, we're going to be adding in 1 1/4 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt. Still adding dry ingredients. Next, we're going to put in 1/2 cup of bread flour. Make sure to kind of, again, that was 1/2 cup of bread flour. Top of that, we're going to add 2 1/2 cups of regular all-purpose flour. That's 2 1/2 cups of regular all-purpose flour. We're going to make a well here in the middle. On top of the bread, we're going to start adding our wet ingredients next. On top of that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil mixed with 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Now, as I told you before, if you like your pretzels extra soft, then add another teaspoon of either olive or vegetable oil. And I like mine extra soft. So I'm adding that other teaspoon of olive oil in. So that's 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil and 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil if you like them extra soft. Here we have our water ready to go out of the teapot at 110 degrees. And it is a little less than 1 1/4 cups. I'm going to start small on this. I'm not even going to add all of this. Might not need it. I'm going to leave a little bit here in the bottom. Now, I like the flavor of brown sugar in mine, so I'm going to add a heaping teaspoon of brown sugar. That's a heaping teaspoon of brown sugar. Just gives it that perfect flavor. Now, I melted my butter, and I might have gotten it too hot, so now we have to test it because we don't want it hitting. It's 120. It's a little too hot. It'll cool off when I put it on the flour here. So I'm just going to go ahead, put it like this. Should cool off there when it hits that oil. Okay, and that was 2 tablespoons, by the way, 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Sorry, my husband's installing something in the kitchen, so. All right, now we've got our little bit of extra water here. We may need it. Now we're going to put down our lid. All right, now I'm only clearing this off and I'm only cleaning this lid off so you can see it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to set this to manual. And we're going to hit the start button. All right, now we got our extra flour here in case we need it. Or we have our little bit of extra water here in case we need it. Looks really good. I think I'm going to put a little more flour around it. There we go. Doesn't take much, just a little bit. That helps it to start its kneading process. the extra water, so I think that's fine. All right, so we're gonna let it knead now. It's pretty much done its mixing. We're gonna let it knead now for about 3 minutes, 5 maximum. And we'll be right back. While it's still spinning like this, I'm going to take a little bit of vegetable oil, and I'm just going to brush the sides of the pan. And I'm going to brush the dough while it's kind of spinning and get it kind of coated. There we go. So now I'm going to hit the stop button, and this is nice and coated with oil by doing it that way. Because it is winter time out, we're going to go ahead and cover this with a nice warm towel. In fact, I'm going to kind of double thickness it. There we go. And we'll see you back here in about 50 to 55 minutes. We're going to let this raise until this is up and almost to the blower vent here. We're going to make a nice soft dough. Okay. So anyway, we will see you back here in a few minutes, okay? It's already stretching out, so that's going to work. It's going to work. Nice and warm environment. That's what we want. Okay, I've just put in here 1/3 cup of baking soda. That's 1/3 cup of baking soda to about 6 cups of water. And we're going to get that nice and boiled through. And we're going to boil this for 1 minute, turn off the heat, and we're going to make up our pretzels. Okay? Again, just going to boil this for 1 minute and then turn off the heat. And yes, that's baking soda inside our water. This is what's going to give that nice chewy texture to the outside of our pretzel. So be sure to make your pretzels smaller than the size of the pan that you're using. If you're going to make them big, then use a big skillet. Now here we just have baking sheets that are lined with parchment paper. And I'm just going to take some of this butter flavored oil nonstick spray. And I'm going to lightly coat the paper, just a little bit, not much. And I'm also going to use this instead of butter or egg wash. You can use either one. Unsalted butter or egg wash. You just take a little bit of an egg yolk, a little bit of water, beat that together, and you can brush your pretzel with that. But I'm just going to stick to the butter flavored oil here because it has no calories. Now, to ensure that I got a nice coating on this, and then I'm going to put a little bit on the pan on this one, so I didn't cut my paper quite the size here like I should have. There we go. I'm going to set these aside, and we're going to make up the pretzels. About 1/2 cup of flour here, and we've got some nice coarse kosher salt here to sprinkle on our, put as much salt on them as you like. And we got our butter flavored spray. Again, you can use melted butter or an egg yolk and water egg wash. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to, instead of working on my normal pastry cloth, I'm just going to take a little bit of flour like this, and I'm just going to put it down here on my countertop. I just gotta take my hand and I just kind of work it out here in front of me a little bit. This might be a little bit too much. If you feel like you got a little bit too much, push some of it out of the way here. And again, depends on how big you want to make it. You can also oil the countertop as well and put this on an oiled countertop. Either way works. Set the stove off from our water and baking soda mixture. It has boiled probably a little over a minute. That's perfect. Now we're going to take our risen dough. Alright, we're going to turn this out onto a very lightly floured. Like again, you can even oil this instead of flour it. Oil might even work better. I don't know, but this is the way that I've always done it. Now we're going to take and we're going to punch down the dough just like this right here. Give it a flip. I'm gonna give it a punch down. Here. Here we go. Okay. I'll let this relax for just a minute so it will work out into roping. We don't want to cut our kitchen countertop on this. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to cut this into 8 equal pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, well, it's going to have more than that. All right, with that being said, don't cut your countertop. There's several ways that you can roll out pretzel dough. And one of those ways is, and again, you can use a little bit of butter cooking spray on this, or you can use a little bit of flour, it doesn't matter. I use just a little bit of flour because it helps me to kind of get rolling. Okay, so now I'm going to take and kind of form this in two, and we're going to start in the center just like this, and we're going to go roll, and we're going to roll outwards here. And again, you can make these as big as you like. You can give it a double twist and bring it over, and you can have some small pretzels like this right here, or you can make them much bigger. That is entirely up to you. I usually roll mine about 24 to 30 inches long. Try to get them even here. I'm going to roll from the center out. You can go like this. You can put them in a U just like that. Cross over. Cross over. Cross over twice. And give it a flip. Just like that right there. Pinch the edges. I pinch the edges just a little bit. Or you can even take and add just a little bit of touch of water right there and kind of glue them together a little bit. Just right there. Kind of give them a nice shape. There you go. I want to make these so big that they don't fit into my pan of water, okay? So I'm going to finish shaping them. Okay, I'm going to finish shaping them. Just a little bit of flour on here, fine. Have to get it. There we go. The end wasn't wanting to roll for me. Again, 25 to 30 inches. And you can make these as big as you like. I've made great big ones. So, again, put them in the U shape. It needs to be a little bit longer for me. U shape, cross, cross, and flip. A little bit of water to secure those ends. Sometimes even put a little bit of water right in here at the joint. Now again, you can give it the double turn or the single turn. Either one works. We're going to continue to let those raise as we move forward. Of course, we want it to look like a heart because it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that neat? And you can do this at home for your loved ones as well. Your kids will love this. All right, so I'm just going to finish. I'm just going to finish shaping these out. And we will be right back. I love doing this. Some of that There you go. Give it a twirl, give it a fold. That's one way of doing it right there. Take and then twist and fold. Just like that right there. And that's we're just gonna let these raise for 25 minutes. And we'll be right back. And then here's the pretzels. Almost doubled in size. We're going to need a large slotted spoon like this one. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in one of these smaller ones here. Kind of reshaping it here just a little bit, but we don't want it to lose its raising. And we're just going to, oops. Gently, we're going to drop it down in here. And we're going to count to 30. I'm going to try to submerge it. Okay. Drain it off. I'm just going to use the butter spray. Again, you can use butter, whatever you have on here. I'm going to do it again. Hold this down. Count again. Use a slotted spoon because that helps to drain the water off of it. I'm going to reshape. Keep them away from each other just a little bit here. We're going to spray. And we're going to sprinkle with our salt. However much salt you like, that's entirely up to you. Look how that's swelling up since I put that in the water there. That one goes to John, so he likes salt. Okay, and we're just going to keep going. I'll bring you a little closer so you can see in the water bath a little better. Just immersing it. Okay, now we're just going to put these in the oven. And we're going to bake these for about 8 minutes. You'll know by how brown they are, okay? But we're going to start at the 8-minute. Here we are, pretzels made in the DAK Turbo Baker 2 with some of my homemade mustards. Just to give you a size of how big they are, here's my hand. Here's my hand. It turned out really nice. And I like mine a little softer on the outside and in the inside. I don't like them too chewy. We'll let them take their time and let them actually cook on the interior. And if you want to raise your oven after that. But these just have the perfect twisting to them. Look how beautiful these are. Isn't that just gorgeous? A little kosher salt. All right, well, we're going to give these a try. We hope you've enjoyed this recipe. We got more in the oven. We got the big ones in the oven here. We hope you enjoyed this recipe. I also have some recipes on my channel about how to make homemade mustards. Here we have the cherry mustard, caramel mustard, blackberry mustard, and my sweet and hot mustard, which is absolutely delicious. Right now we're using the blackberry mustard, which is really good too. And those are blackberries from our garden. Here are our larger pretzels. They are huge. All right, I can't wait to dip into one. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Cheese sauce is good with this. All right, so let's see how these babies taste. Go ahead and pick one out, John boy.
Pick.
Let me pick one.
Yep.
I'll pick this little small one here. I'll just pick one. Here you go. Aren't those beautiful? I'm gonna hand this one right here off to John boy. Well, let's do the break test. Let's see how it feels. Chewy on the outside, tender on the inside. That's the way it should be right there. That's the way it should be. Let's try it. That's good. They're better when they're warm and out of the oven. I kind of...
They're great.
Like that? What do you think of that blackberry mustard?
It's very good.
Oh, he's going in for another dip.
Other side.
Yeah. Really good. Okay, you guys got to try pretzels homemade. Okay, you got to try them. Okay. They turned out beautiful. They're like artwork. Look at this big one here. Oop, I broke one. Look at that one. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. Come here, John.
Okay.
This is Chef and Builder Janie Pendleton back in the kitchen for my homemade pretzels. You can do it by hand, or you can use your bread machine. All right. We love you. Go with God. Blessings.